Hello, everybody. This is Alia Jamal, the love coach, and we are meeting for another love circle. And today we are talking about a very exciting but light topic, self-image slash self-esteem, which is just going to sneak in there. But this topic seems very easy. This is a well-beaten word that we all have heard, self-esteem, self-image. But this is the area where if we don't get honest, we completely overlook what needs to shift. So this is one of those classes or one of those workshops. I will say, like, let yourself get a little bit more honest with yourself. If already you're very honest with yourself, go a little bit deeper. And I'm going to be doing the same thing, because as I'm going to be teaching it, I am going to be taking myself through this process as well. So let's dig in. What is self-image? Self-image is how I see myself. In my mind, the image that comes up when I say me or when I say Alia, the image that comes up, that is my self-image. And that is unconscious. It's part of my unconscious mind. I don't really sit down and think about it much, but I just assume and I just know that's who I am. And now that image is what attracts whatever experiences I have, because that is the energy I'm unconsciously putting out in the world, in the universe, that this is who I am, and everything that comes to me is a vibrational match to that. Now, there's another thing that happens under self-image is called self-esteem. Self-esteem is a set of beliefs or perception about myself, that what is my value. If my self-esteem is higher, I am going to feel so much more confident. I'm going to think I can do anything. But if you pay attention to it, it is being fed by my self-image. If my self-image is poor, I'm going to have poor beliefs about myself. When I say poor, like, negative beliefs about myself, and then my self-esteem is going to be lower. I'm not going to go for my big dreams. I'm not going to put myself out there. I'm going to hold myself back. Another thing I want to talk about right here before we move any further, different parts of your life, different areas of your life, different stages of your life, your self-image and your self-esteem changes. Maybe you're a very successful woman in your career, you're doing wonderful, and you find this wonderful partner. Now you guys are together, you start a family, you get a kid, and you're like, I have no idea what to do. I'm such a loser. I don't even know how to raise this kid. So your self-image as a mom needs some work. Maybe your self-image as a partner needs some work. If you've been used to staying alone all this time, and now all of a sudden you're sharing your room with somebody, you're sharing your bathroom with somebody, the self-image and the self-esteem would have to be adjusted. The reason I'm sharing it here, sometimes we feel like career is usually the most prominent place where we really put an effort to build a solid self-image and solid self-esteem. And then we assume that I'll be able to take that everywhere else in my life. But that's not how the life actually works, or the way how universe actually works. Every part of you, every separate part of you requires its own work. So for the sake of this conversation, pick one area in your life where you really want to be successful and you haven't been able to nail it down yet. Or maybe it's an area that's like, completely brand new and you're just starting new in there. And there's like, you don't even know if there's any self-image there already, your self-esteem. So focus on that. And as I am talking it, I'm keeping a focused area in my mind too. So we'll take this right together. Now, let's look at where self-esteem and self-image come from. It's unconscious image that we have of ourselves. If it's unconscious image, when did we get programmed? When someone told me this is who you're going to be, between 0 to 7, that's the magic number. That is when we are in a state of hypnosis, and that is when we are absorbing. If you were told you're so ugly and you're so fat, You might be 35 now, a supermodel, looking so beautiful, but your self-image still is, I am fat and ugly. And you carry that struggle deep within you, even though everyone else admires you. Everyone else is so inspired by you. We are talking about that very secret, deep part that we hold on to very close to us. That is the self-image and self-esteem. That is, I already told you guys, it's going to require getting very, very, very honest with ourselves. So it comes from outside of us. So if you think you're a loser mom, it came from outside of you. You have seen somebody treating their child certain way, and then someone else said in that setting, oh, that mom is so bad, and you internalized, okay, if I am not able to, I'm just gonna make up a story here. Oh, this is a very good one. So in mom's community, for those of you who are not mothers yet, you might not understand it, but if you didn't breastfeed your child, you're kind of loser. If you've been giving formula, yeah, we understand, you know, you had health issues and all that, but still internally, that's how we see you. It's kind of like unspoken, um, not being honest kind of opinion out there. It takes a lot of honesty to work through that and really see another person with their own struggle. So let's say now that is what you heard when you were little. Maybe your mom was talking, your aunt was talking, neighbors were talking, somebody was talking in the mall. And now here you are, you're struggling to breastfeed, and you're leaning more towards formula because you need to keep this little one alive. And in your mind, you're like, I'm going to be a loser if I do that. That struggle, my friend, is real. That struggle is real. It sucks our energy. It puts so much stress on us. And that is a self-image issue. That is a self-esteem issue. Even if that mom is like, you know, the highest, or she's the CEO of a 500 Fortune company, no matter who she is, that self-image and self-esteem is going to start eating her up inside, because what that is, that's an energy leakage. You are comparing yourself with something outside of you. What's happened when we go outside of us? We start to lose energy because we are a container of light. Staying focused on the light, staying in my container, that's how I sustain my light. I don't dim it. I don't let anyone else cover it. That is how I can truly step into who I really am as my self-image and as my self-esteem. This topic is gonna get a little spiritual. If you were not already expecting that, let me tell you that. So whatever you want to do right now, write down next to it. For example, let's just go, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds and I haven't been able to do it, and I really want to do it. That means there's, like, you know, some self-image and self-esteem issues going on, that I don't have the ability to do it, or I cannot really do it, or I am not that organized to do it. Put the thing on the top. What is it that you want to do? It could be you want to write a book. I'm working on writing my book, and I know that there are parts that we are working through. It's an expansion that I'm going through as I'm writing it. So whatever you are working through, write it down on the top, and now next to it, write down everything that comes to your mind. How you see yourself being that person. Do you even believe you can do that? So that is where you have to really write it down. If you don't write it down, it all just stays in your head and nothing happens. Because whenever we want to look at our unconscious, we have to sit down, quiet down our mind, and really be willing to go deeper and be curious and ask ourselves, what's going on? What am I thinking? Because those are the thoughts that are stopping you. What am I thinking? How am I seeing myself? And sometimes it feels so uncomfortable to go in that place. But if we don't go there, if we stay afraid of our own judgment, and we stay back and we pretend like everything is beautiful. There's no growth happening. I'll share something about myself that might give you a little more space and room to get a little bit more honest. So very recently something happened where I was having this feeling. I was having this feeling and I'm like, where this feeling coming from? It was a sense of loss. There was a little bit of pain involved. And I started looking at that feeling. What is it that's missing? So what was missing was validation, being seen, being acknowledged. I got very, very honest with myself, and I dropped all the judgment because this is all happening inside of me. No one else can see it. That's where we go. And I looked at all of those feelings. I was like, oh, so I want someone to really see me. I want somebody to really acknowledge me. I want someone to really admire me. That is what I'm looking for. Oh, that is not around me right now. Has it ever been around me? I don't know. But that is what I was looking for. And right away in that moment, I'm like, oh, so I am not giving that to myself. Maybe I think I'm giving that to myself, but it's not enough. That requires a lot of honesty, especially being the love coach and teaching everybody else how to love yourself unconditionally, continuously working on myself. But even me, I have to be honest with myself every single day, paying attention to the thoughts that I have, paying attention to the feelings that I have, be willing to get honest with myself. That's where growth happens. Once that came to the surface, I was like, okay, what's the plan? How am I going to amp up the way I validate myself, the way I see myself? The illusion that we live with this illusion that someone else is going to give it to me. But trust me, when someone else will give it to you, you're going to reject it. The reason you're going to reject it, you're going to reject it unconsciously and still feel bad about yourself, or you're going to think, oh, this person is saying it because they just, feel bad for myself. We come up with another story. The way our vessel is created to hold the light, if we don't earn that light, if we don't earn that expansion, we reject it. And that rejection can come out as, it can play in our life as, we have this one friend who's always admiring us, loving us, and just like, really good to us. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I don't want to hang out with her. I don't know what's wrong, but I don't want to hang out with her. She's giving me light without me earning it. So it's not that I need that from someone else. I need it from me, from me. I just had a conversation earlier with someone this morning, and I helped them understand that the emotions that you're feeling, because you're not giving to yourself, you're expecting someone else to give it to you. And it was a newer concept to that person, but it opened up their world. We chase and we stay in the illusion, like, someone else needs to tell me I'm such a confident person, and then I'll be confident person and then I can do anything. No, it's you who need to give that to yourself. So the story that I was telling you, I came up with a plan. Now we are going to implement that plan. Maybe at some point I just stopped seeing myself as much. I wanted to be seen by myself. Maybe there was a dip in that love that I've been giving myself. Could be that I've been really busy past 2 weeks. It could be anything. So now we know that the feeling is coming from that need that I have of myself, and I can give it to myself. So just wanted to share that little bit vulnerable, deeper part, so you feel like it's okay to be honest with yourself. No judgment and no hesitation, because that's where the growth happens. And the part of your unconscious mind that doesn't want you to grow, it's not going to let you go there. It'd be like, just stay on the side. Everything is good. Nothing bad going on. You're doing really well. Just keep going. That's usually what we do among girlfriends. Instead of creating the room to be vulnerable and honest, we have created a culture. Let's lift up everybody. Hey, you're doing okay. Hey, you're doing just fine. Just look at the tiny progress that you have made. Yeah, at one stage we need that. But a stage comes depending on the kind of friends or circle you hang around or hang with, would be start getting honest. Okay, I see that that is what's going on. Can we go a little deeper? Are you feeling those parts of you or not? What can you do to fill those parts instead of just being these high vibe lady friends? Let's become vulnerable and honest lady friends, because that's when we all grow. We grow collectively. We go beyond the illusion. So that was my, side pep talk. Let's come back to this topic. Um, whatever area of your life you want to work on, write it. What are the thoughts that goes along it? Write it down. And then one by one, we are going to ask ourselves, is it true? That is where we go through the illusion, because the illusions say that you're not good enough. Is that true? Is that really true? The illusion maybe say, hey, you lose weight and then you gain weight back. But is that true? Is that really true? Is that pendulum happening because the discipline is missing? Do you have the ability to create that discipline? Maybe you haven't done it. That's another thing. But do you have the ability to do it? Our self-image has to come from not what we were told, not what we were conditioned, but who we are, the way God created us. We are unlimited being. We are a soul in a human body. We are a soul, if you're willing to go that far, that has lived multiple lifetimes. And now we are in this body. We have a lot of knowledge already. We are bigger than life, bigger than anything you can ever put in front of me. We are bigger than that. That is where our self-image has to be anchored and our self-esteem has to be anchored. Now, if that is the foundation, if the foundation of my self-image is I am the soul, if that is what my self-image is, now it will be a matter of, what do I need to learn? What skills do I need to learn? For example, let's say if I want to become a TED Talk speaker, like a TED speaker, if that's what I want to do, I know I have the ability to do it. I know I have the power, the energy, because I am an unlimited being, right? But I am in a human body right now. Maybe my pronunciation is not perfect. Maybe my word choices are not perfect because I was not an English major. Maybe my writing skills are not good. So what I'm going to do now, instead of looking at the lies, hey, you can never speak right, instead of looking at those lies, I'm looking at I am unlimited being, and I'm going to go actually hire a coach who will help me create that speech, who would train me to be an elegant speaker or an impactful speaker. Now I have created the room to get support. Not from a place that there's something wrong with me, just from a place, hey, that's what I want and I need to build that skill. So now my self-image is not coming from I'm such a loser, I can never do anything right, and going from that push perspective. No, I'm going to prove everybody wrong. I'm going to push through it. I'm going to make it happen. I'm a go-getter. That takes so much energy from you. It puts so much stress on your body. It puts so much stress on your nervous system. Yes, you will get to the other side. You will become that wonderful, million plus viral video TED Talk speaker. But at the end, you'll be drained. We don't want to live a drained life. We want to live a life that is beautiful, that's joyful, that's peaceful, where we move through life without being without being touched by like all the thorns that are out there. We can do it. Why we can do it? We are an unlimited being in this human body. So that is how your self-image really needs to be anchored. If you cannot connect with the concept that you're a soul, I would really invite you to have a one-on-one conversation with me. Because one thing we all know, it's not a religious concept. I know right now it's a very religious concept. This concept has been there since the birth of human. We all know there's something within us. When it leaves the body, we bury the body. What is that something? That something is the unlimited power within you. It's within each and every one of us. That is what makes us successful. It's not me being successful, it's that power being successful. If I join forces with that power, oh, I just got out of my own way. Now we're going to have fun. But if I'm saying, I'm going to take the responsibility of creating this big empire that I'm created, I'm going to make it happen, and I'm going to fight with anybody who comes in my way. Now, what I'm doing, I'm just putting unnecessary pressure on myself. And that's what happens when we don't see ourselves the way God sees us. That is the next point that I wanted to make. I'll give you guys these points in at the end so you can write it down. Do I see myself the way God sees me? Now, if you have an issue between you and God, maybe it's just the word God, you can use the word source, you can use the word universe, you can use the word light, whatever is good. But if you have the problem with you and the higher power, please reach out to me. I would love to take you through a personalized session to resolve that. We cannot do that right here because the reason I'm even bringing it up, I work with people who come to me and they say, I'm angry at God. God didn't do anything for me. Why didn't God stop that person from doing all this? It's very real. For those people who have never experienced the friction with their creator, they're like, oh, that is crazy. That is like, taking you out of religion. Like they start going that way. But human struggles are very real and very different and very unique, but also very common. I experienced that myself too. That's where I became very curious to what's going on here. So let's say if you have a problem with your relationship with God, reach out to me. If you don't have a problem, let's move forward. He created that soul. He created that soul with the same or very similar capabilities that God has. Yeah, we are not 100% there. We can't just, do this and like, things start moving. Yeah, we are not there, but we do have the power to create. We do have the unlimited power to create. And if you need some convincing, look around at some human of our time. Look at some really big names right now. The ones who were not born genius, but then look what they have created. For me, I live very close to New York City. For me, just going by the water, looking at New York City skyline, to me, that's a soul. That's the potential of a soul. Extremely high-rise building. Most of them are like, covered in glass, but somehow people are living in it. Somebody created it. Somebody thought of it. So beautiful. That is the power of soul. We all have that. So now we're going to start looking at ourselves, not how my mom looked at me, now how my dad looked at me, now how the society looked at us, especially as women. No matter what culture we come from, what country we come from, we carry some very specific things about being a woman. And it's not very kind either. There are some very unkind things that we carry. But from today on, look at yourself how God sees you. Does God sees you, oh, she's just a woman? Or does God sees you that is the soul that I created? Unlimited power, unlimited potential. She can become whoever she wants. She can become that. Your self-image, your self-esteem, your beliefs about yourself has to come from who you are as a soul. And if you're like, okay, I don't even know who I am as a soul, let me give it to you in one sentence: unlimited potential, unlimited power. You can expand as much as you want to expand. But whenever you start that expansion, let's say now you want to, let's say right now you're size 16 and you want to be size 8. You have never been there. You can't even remember in your adult life when you were size 8. Start seeing yourself the way God sees you, not how people see you, because people have seen you as a fat person your whole life. They have called it to you too. They have made fun of you. Maybe in middle school they made fun of you, and you're holding on to that image. That's who I am. That's a lie, my friend. That's a lie. That's an illusion that you're living. Look at yourself how God looks at you. You're already size 8. That potential already exists for you. That is the truth about the soul. Anything you ever want, it already exists for you. So when your self-image becomes that's who I am already, now look at what's happening. Now that is getting absorbed in your unconscious mind. So the signal, the energy that you're sending out into the universe is, I am already a size 8. So now waking up maybe a little earlier to go to the gym, to put in a little bit extra effort to make a proper meal for yourself and not just eat those frozen meals. And when maybe 3 desserts come in front of you, you'll just maybe take one, is going to become so much easier because your self-image has shifted. And when self-image shifts, the self-esteem shifts. I can do anything becomes your internal dialogue. That invisible image that you hold inside of you becomes of a very tall and confident woman. And that energy creates the shift. So whenever you're looking at self-image, whatever thoughts that come to you, question, is it coming from my soul or is it coming from my conditioning? That has become my most favorite question lately. Asking myself, is it coming from my soul? Is it coming from my conditioning? And you'll be able to tell very fast what's coming from your conditioning. It's coming from your conditioning because you have heard it before, either as a child or as an adult person, or you have heard it from yourself before. And the tone of the voice of this conditioned self is not very kind. But the soul always talks to you with kindness because it knows you're already complete, you're not broken, everything is perfect with you. So let me give you these 4 points. So first we talked about what is self-image and self-esteem. We talked about where does it come from and where the true self-image has to come from. We got into that. But let's say now you want to create a shift. You're like, okay, I want to do this new thing and I need to create a self-image so I succeed in it. First, just put down, you have to write down, this is where I'm going. It could be like, in 3 months, I'm going to have a business, right? You're just creating a new business. And then write down, how do you see yourself? And then you also write down, how do you believe about yourself? What is it that you believe about yourself in this area? And then you can ask yourself right next to it, is it really true? Like, are these beliefs really true? That is where you can actually question, is it the truth or is it the cooked up lie and conditioning that I'm believing? And when you go a step further and you ask that question, it becomes a little bit more visible where it's your soul, where it's your conditioning. And the last one would be, how does God see you? And then write that down too. How does God sees you? And now, whatever you receive, this is how God sees you. Stick to that. While you're going for this new adventure, whatever that new adventure is, keep that as your North Star. I'll tell you something I just did, and I keep my notes right in front of me. So I was looking at something in my life. I was doing this with my mentor, And the voices in my head, like, this self-image and the self-esteem, it said, how can you do it? What do you have to show for yourself? You have nothing. You see how unkind that voice is? That cannot be voice of the soul. So now see what the soul said. The soul said, or how God sees me, you're complete in this moment. Everything is within you. You're one with the light. So what I did, I took that, I put it in front of me, I look at it every single day. This work that we do, it's every single day work. You're never gonna arrive at a place where you be like, I am done, I am there, and now I don't have to do any work. It doesn't even happen after the soul leaves the body. Even after the soul leaves the body, it continues to evolve and grow. So what we can really do is fall in love with the work. When you fall in love with the work, that is when you're not feeling like, oh my God, even today I have to be so mindful. It becomes easier. And at least I am at a place at this point that I really enjoy digging deep. Like yesterday when I was looking at my thoughts and I was looking where they're coming from, it was like the most amazing experience for me, because whenever I can find something that needs to shift, that needs to be aligned with the soul, because there's a sweetness that comes from being so closely connected to the soul and taking out all the stuff that is not aligned with the soul. That cleanup, that good feeling that we get when we do spring cleaning. So that is the feeling I get, and it just gets to be even more joyful. So that is all, my friends, today for self-esteem or self-image for success. The big highlight from this whole conversation is see yourself the way God sees you. And if you don't know how God sees you, please reach out to me. I would love to have a conversation with you. And if this is the work that you want to do deeper and you really want to feel that complete connection with your soul, I would love to be your guide. Reach out to me. We can have a conversation and figure out how can I assist you on that. I will see you all next Thursday. Have a beautiful rest of your week. Love you. Bye.